Thanks for being here, everyone, on the Jeffco Spotlight. I'm Matt Keeney with JCTV, and today we're talking about the Jefferson College PACE series, the Performing Arts and Cultural Enrichment series. You may have seen some of these booklets around campus. If you can, pick one up. There's a lot of great events coming up, and here to talk about those is Assistant Music Professor at the college, Joel Vanderhyden. How you doing, Joel?
Great, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming in. So again, second year of the PACE series.
Yeah.
And you do a lot to book these acts and bring them in. And we've already had a couple of cool events. The Improv Shop, the improv event was recent, as well as the Air Force Band. So how did those go, first of all?
They went really well. It was one of the things that we're trying to do with the PACE series is not just have a variety of different types of performances, which in itself would be a very cool thing to have, but we're also trying to engage the students and community members and faculty and staff. And so the first event we had with the Improv Shop, they came in and gave a workshop that was open to the public, and we had, I think, close to 40 people show up for that and participate in their workshop, learning how to do some of the improv comedy tactics, I guess, the theory behind that, and trying their hand at that. And we had several students that ended up performing as an opening act for the Improv Shop that evening in the performance. So right away, our first event was able to get everybody engaged.
Yeah, they're part of the act there.
Yeah,
you're not just watching, you're taking part, so that's kind of cool.
That's right. So it was a lot of fun, and I had seen the Improv Shop folks in St. Louis a couple times before, and they're just very consistently funny and imaginative and a lot of fun to watch. So I think it was a great event. And then we most recently was the United States Air Force Shades of Blue Jazz Ensemble from Scott Air Force Base. And they came down here and just kind of knocked everybody's socks off. It was an amazing show that I think everyone was prepared for a good concert, but everyone seemed kind of blown away as they were leaving the venue. So yeah, and we've got a lot on tap for the rest of the year that's yet to come. So we're very excited.
Right, quite a lengthy list. And the next event will be the We Trio. That will be Tuesday, September 24th at 7:30 p.m. in the Fine Arts Theater on the Hillsborough campus. So the graphic here on the flyer is interesting because three guys, all in different kind of paint. So when I saw that, I thought, is this kind of like a Blue Man Group kind of thing? But I guess not. It's more of a jazz trio, right?
Yeah, well, it's they're all three of the guys definitely have a strong background in jazz, but they're kind of known for being a little bit more tied in with different influences, playing improvised music, but around more of, not afraid to incorporate rock music and other types of things. But it's a vibraphonist, a bassist, and a drummer. And they're from New York and New Orleans. But the bassist originally was a St. Louis native, and I believe went to SIUE and got his degree there before moving to New York. And now they play all over the country, and we're lucky enough to have them kind of mid-tour as they pass through the Midwest. And I'm very excited. They're also going to be giving a clinic for our music students that afternoon before their show in the evening. So it's kind of, you could expect to hear pretty much anything from the jazz repertoire to Nirvana to David Bowie, and that's where the face paint comes from. Their last album was an entire album of David Bowie covers, but in that format, in the vibraphone, bass, and drums format.
You're going to have to educate me. What's the vibraphone?
The vibraphone kind of looks like what you might think of as a xylophone, but it's wider, all-metal bars, and it's got a pedal on it and a rotor, so it can kind of have almost a little bit of vibrato in the music world, and that's where the name kind of comes from. But it's a common jazz instrument, but they're as you can tell, they're kind of using it in a much more non-traditional way.
Yeah, I'd like to hear some Nirvana from them.
Yeah. Well,
I just saw that it's like the 20th anniversary of In Utero, which makes me feel very old.
That's right.
That's very appropriate right now, I guess. Sounds interesting. Now, for that, tickets are $5 for the general public, $2 for students and seniors.
That's right.
But you can get that season pass, which really sounds like a great deal.
That's right. The season passes are available for $25 for general admission or $15 for students and seniors, and that covers the entire season, all the way through May, all of the events that are involved with that. So it is a very good deal, and 100% of that money that you'd be spending on a season pass goes right back into funding future events here at the campus. So it's a really a nice thing, and it allows us to keep bringing really cool stuff to the.
I mean, it's hard today to find entertainment for $25 for one event. For one event, nonetheless, for 2 semesters full of great events.
Right.
And one thing I personally kind of like about the PACE series is not only do you bring in these nationally touring acts like the Wee Trio, who, by the way, I looked at their schedule. They're hitting up Toronto, New York, San Francisco, and then Hillsborough. So that's, you're going to have a very intimate setting here to see them.
That's right.
But so it's not only those acts that tour the nation and the world, but we have, featuring our students, events featuring our student talent, acting, musicians, as well as our faculty talent. So some of the other events coming up in October, the 10th through the 13th, we have the fall play, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. And then the 15th, the band concert, Americana. October 20th, the choir concert, Masquerade Ball is the theme for that. And then finally, to round out October on the 24th, the faculty jazz concert, which I would imagine you're probably a part of.
I'll be participating in that, as we have a quartet this year, so we've got myself on saxophone, Joe Pastor on the drums and vibraphone, so you can check out some vibraphone at that concert too.
Wonderful.
Ben Wheeler on the bass and Wayne Kimler on guitar. So it's a really fun group. We played and did a little tour of some high schools last spring as a quartet, and we're excited to be playing again this fall. Got a lot. In the past, when we've done that, we focus on a lot of original music, and so you get to kind of see the personality. Most everyone in that group contributes music for the concert, so you get to kind of see the personalities of each person and what their mind kind of thinks of musically.
How much is that of those kind of jazz performances you guys do? How much of that is improv that you're kind of making up as you go along, or is it mostly scripted songs?
Well, the structure is always scripted for the most part. And usually there's some type of melody that is written out and that is played the same or roughly the same every time. But inevitably, either in the middle section or sometimes at the beginning or end, there's something that is improvised, and usually it's over a set of chord changes, so the chords kind of go through a set progression while the soloist plays around over the top of those chords, hopefully hitting the right notes that go along with those chords to make it sound good.
You got to know the other musicians pretty well to do that, right?
That's
Don't you
right.
think?
That's right. You have to know a little bit about music theory and know what the other musicians are going to be doing. So.
And a great thing about some of these events in October that we were just talking about, those are free.
That's right.
So you don't really need the pass or even to buy a ticket. You can just show up and go on in.
Yeah, we have a lot of free events, most of the events, not all, but most of the events that involve students or faculty or anything like that will be free of charge. And even with the ticketed events, $5 and $2 is really reasonable. And that's one thing that with the PACE series we wanted to have really high quality events, but not charge those prices. Because we want to make it as accessible as possible and not, keep somebody away from having a really great experience just because of a ticket price. So I'm hoping that will be the case. And the modest ticket price still again goes back into helping to fund future events, but we want to keep it affordable for everybody.
It certainly is as of right now. How about November? November actually is Global Education Month, so we have a couple of global type events there. To kick the month off, though, the Fallback Into Jazz concert, another free concert on November 3rd. And then we were talking about this event before we started filming here, the Music of India on November 7th with master sitarist, I'm probably going to butcher this, but Ustad Imrat Khan.
You got it, man.
Good. Well, that looks like it's very interesting, and we were talking, that's just such an interesting instrument that in America we're not used to hearing that so much. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
I mean, some people might, if you're a Beatles fan, I know George Harrison was very into studying the sitar. He took some lessons with Ravi Shankar, and really on the sitar there are two what they call dynasty families, which are kind of the most famous, well-respected families when it comes to classical Indian music, and the Shankar family is certainly one of those, and the Khan family is the other, and he is a direct, descendant of this wonderful lineage of Indian sitarists. So he makes his home in both India and St. Louis, of all places. So he splits his time, and so we're able to bring him to the college without having to pay for a plane ticket from India, which is really nice. So we're definitely taking advantage of that, and he's going to bring some other musicians down with him as well. You'll probably hear some tabla and maybe surbahar. I'm not sure exactly what all he'll be bringing, but
yeah, we have a little video of him playing, so we're going to pause for a second. We can take a listen to that.
Okay.
So again, that event is the Music of India with Master Sitarist Ustad Imrat Khan on November 7th, so that one will be a lot of fun. And then as well, a couple more events in November. We have Ann Furman, United Nations librarian, so she'll be giving a lecture in the library. That's free. That's on November 15th, so that's a little bit interesting. Kind of different than the music and performing arts maybe that traditionally.
And this was actually suggested to us by Lisa Pritchard. She had been in contact with Anne, and it sounded really interesting. The committee, the Cultural Diversity Committee, which is the committee that's responsible for putting all these events together, thought that it would be a really neat addition to the series. And she's, I believe, the only United Nations librarian in Missouri. She's also on staff at the Missouri State University, and does work for them, but also for the United Nations. So I'm sure she'll have a very interesting perspective.
Yes, maybe some interesting stories to tell there.
Absolutely.
Also, in November, Grupo Atlantico, the Colombian folk dance group, on the 17th. So what can we expect from that?
Well, this group is very well known around the St. Louis and greater St. Louis area for putting on these traditional Colombian dance shows. And so it'll be a wide range of different dances, and there will be some educational elements where they'll discuss what exactly you're watching. Why is this person doing that in the dance, and so that you can kind of make sense of it and learn a little bit about the culture and what goes into that. So I know a number of our faculty have seen them perform before, and they came very highly recommended. So we're excited to have them down here. And
then on the 20th through 23rd of November, it's the children's play, Jack and the Giant. And then rounding out the month on the 24th, another choir concert, Harvest Moon, will be that show, and that one again is free to attend.
Right, and that one is actually, I believe, one of the only events that we have that is off-site. So
really?
That one's going to be at, I believe it's Spring Hills Church.
Okay.
So that'll be off-site, but it is part of our series, and our students are participating in that, and so it'll be kind of fun to hear them in a slightly different venue.
Right, and then December rolls around, the end of the fall semester, of course, and a couple of events there as well. On the 3rd, we have the concert band featuring Brandon Ridnour of the Canadian Brass, and a student pottery sale, which is kind of a yearly thing. It's nice to see some of the work the students produce there from December 4th through 5th. And finally, on the 12th, the Jefferson College Jazz Festival concert. So that's your wheelhouse, jazz. So
that's right.
So tell us what's going to happen then.
Well, I do want to say a little something about the December 3rd concert with Brandon Ridnour from the Canadian Brass. He was the youngest trumpeter ever to be admitted into the Canadian Brass. So he's kind of a young prodigy, so to speak, and I think that he's going to be doing some things with solo with a piano accompaniment, and then going to be doing a couple pieces with the Jefferson College concert band as a soloist. So it'll be that concert in particular will be quite diverse in terms of the really small 2-member pieces to the full band and everything. So you'll get a lot of variety, and he is definitely one that has some fireworks in his fingers, if you know what I mean.
Right. So do you know how old he was when he was inducted?
Oh gosh, I think he might have even still been a teenager. Maybe.
Wow.
He was a
That's
teenager
impressive.
or very early
still.
20s. So yeah, he was very young, and he's a wonderful talent. And he currently lives in Brooklyn, New York, and but we're lucky enough to have him come out here to Hillsborough. So, and then yeah, the jazz concert, the jazz festival, that's something that we've been doing for quite a while, and it's really a nice event community-wise, because during the day we bring in local high school jazz ensembles, and I get the opportunity to work with them and have clinics with all of them. And then we all share a concert. So the Jefferson College Jazz Ensemble headlines the evening concert, but we hear a couple pieces from each of the high schools that participated during the day as well. So it's a really nice community event, and a nice opportunity to kind of share some ideas about jazz music and hopefully get inspired. So.
And still a lot of great events too in the spring semester starting in January. So we have an illusionist coming, some more jazz, as well as what I think will definitely be a cool event, or sounds cool, is in May, the Backyard Barbecue with the Funky Butt Brass Band.
Definitely.
Saw them open for Dr. John one time. They're really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And actually their drummer is currently our concert band director here at Jefferson College.
Really? Well, that's great.
Yep. So we're getting it from all sides. It's pretty cool to have him, Ron Sykes, as a part of our staff, but also on the PACE series and performing with us. So.
Well, great. Well, if you want any more information about these events, you can go to our website, jeffco.edu, and if you look on the right-hand side of the main page, there'll be an Arts and Entertainments link or icon down on the right-hand side. I think that's what it says, right? Performing Arts.
Yep.
So you click on that, you'll get the full list. If you're around campus, these are in various offices. I've seen them laying around, so pick one of these up. We also have some of the flyers posted on the wall. And by the way, our graphics department really did a great job on this as well as those flyers. This is really great work in here,
Yeah.
and it gives you some images of these events, as well as a good description, the dates, the times, whether it's free, whether you might need to buy a ticket, and it's all right here in the PACE booklet. So Joel, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. And maybe we'll have you back in before the spring semester. We can detail some of those spring events a little more.
That sounds great.
And if anyone wants to give a call to get that season pass, the correct number would be 636-481-3123, correct?
That's correct.
And you can buy them at the cashier's office in the Student Center right here in the Hillsborough campus. All right, Joel, thanks a lot again. We
Thank you, Vince.
appreciate your time. And that will do it for the Jeffco Spotlight. So again, you can check out the website, jeffco.edu, and look for the link on the right-hand side, or you can pick up one of the booklets if you're on campus. And that will do it for now. We'll see you next time on JCTV.